Hi everyone, welcome back. So today I want to talk about one of my favorite plants, the variegated string of hearts. I think this is a really easy plant to take care of. It's beautiful and it's a fast grower, which I really love. So I'll be going over some care tips as well as how to propagate this plant. I'm feeling very rusty today because I actually haven't sat down and recorded a video like this in quite a while. Some of the past videos you've seen from me have either been vlog style or recorded quite a while ago. So I went ahead and I wrote some notes down for myself. So if I'm looking this way, that's what I'm looking at. Also, the background looks kind of odd today with this brown paper. I'm shooting some funny stuff for my plant Instagram. I'll put my username right here. I think it's going to be really cool, so you should definitely go check it out. I just wasn't done yet, so I'm leaving the paper up. We'll be okay. So in terms of the plant and its care tips, I think this is such an easy plant. So I think the most essential thing is giving it enough light. I don't think there's a thing as too much light for this plant. I actually have it directly underneath a grow light about 1.5 feet above it. It's the Sansi bulb. I'll link the exact one down in the description below. I really don't think that this plant burns very easily. I haven't experienced any burning at all with this plant, and I have experienced burning with other plants that are at around the same, like footage away from the grow light. So, but if you're worried about burning or being too close to a grow light, I think what I would do is gradually increase the exposure that your plant gets to it. So if it's currently in, like a bright and direct light, which is probably also great, but if you want to give it direct sunlight, I would bring it to direct sunlight maybe for a couple hours at first and then slowly increase it that way over a long period of time, so then the plant gets adjusted and used to direct sunlight. But I really haven't experienced any issues with, burning or leaf scorching or anything like that, and it's been underneath the grow light since I first got it. And I've had it for about 3 months. I got it in late November, and when I first got it, nothing was trailing yet. It was basically just a bunch of leaves stuck into the soil, kind of just like this base down here. It was just like a bunch of those, really, like nothing. There was no like stem that you could pick up off, and in 3 months of winter time it's grown to be this length. So imagine how fast it grows in the spring and in the summertime. That's what I love so much about it. So so we've talked about lighting. In terms of watering, how I actually water the plants is I let it dry all the way through, and then when I pick it up and it feels like I'm holding nothing, like it's so light, then I wait probably another 3 days and then I water it. You can also feel like some of the leaves at the very bottom close to the soil, if they feel soft, that's also a good indication that the plant needs water. But because the root system for this plant is so shallow, you really want to get it to be dried all the way down before you water. These are pretty drought tolerant plants because I think they're technically a succulent, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. It's definitely much worse to overwater than underwater because I do think it is a little bit prone to root rot. So definitely wait before you water. I top water my plants. I top water pretty much all of my plants. I don't really like bottom watering. And I definitely wouldn't bottom water with a plant like this because it has a shallow root system, and I feel that plants that have shallow and small root systems don't enjoy being bottom watered because there's too much water that just stays wet at the bottom. So yeah, for humidity, I leave it in just room humidity. My room is naturally around 40%. I've had other variegated string of hearts that I've put in my mini indoor greenhouse, and that the humidity in there is like 80%, and it's done well. I think it's grown maybe a little bit faster, but I don't think it's completely necessary. This one obviously has grown super fast, and it's at around 40% humidity on most days. In terms of the color, I have noticed that the more light you give it, the more white leaves come out, like all white leaves, but not pink, because I think pink is actually correlated with the temperature in which the plant is grown at. So I'm obviously growing this indoors in a room that's pretty well temperaturely regulated. It's usually around 65 to 70% in this room. It never really drops below that ever. And so I don't have too much pink on my plant. I think if you want a really, really pink plant, the temperatures have to go a little bit more below that. So maybe put it closer to a window where it might be a little bit colder. I also don't think these plants are that cold hardy though. So since it's winter time right now, I definitely wouldn't put them outside. I've heard a lot of people put these plants outside in summertime. I obviously haven't done that because I haven't had it for that long, but I'm sure it'll be fine during summertime. So if you've had one of these, let me know if you agree with me that the pink is correlated to temperature and not lighting, because I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Okay, so let's talk about propagation next. I'm going to change the camera angle so we can take a look, and then I'm actually going to take some propagations from this plant today. Okay, so I hope you can see that. So first, I want to talk about not necessarily a propagation technique, but a way to make the pot look fuller up on top, and that's the bobby pin method. So I do this with a lot of plants. I've done it with string of dolphins, I've done it with, different pothos and stuff. But basically you want to take just a regular bobby pin. I think they sell like plant pins made specifically for doing this with plants, but I just use bobby pins and it's worked so far. And then you want to get one of these kind of like trailing sections of the plant. I think let's do it to this one. So right here. So you want to find a node. The node is where the leaves grow out of. It's the bumpy part. So the node for this one is right here, where the two leaves are growing out of. And what you're going to do is you want to lay it down into the soil exactly where you want it. And then you want to take your bobby pin, you put it on either side of the stem, and then you push it down. So now the node is fully, into the soil. So what that's going to do is, now that the node is underneath the soil, it's going to develop the tubular rhizome that the variegated string of hearts grow out of. So ideally what's going to happen is that a new trail is going to develop right where that node is, and then it's going to keep going. So if you do it, for example, with a trail that's like this long, and you do it at 4 different points, then that's going to be 4 different like strings that are going to grow out of this one string. So that's a way to make the pot look fuller, and it's also great because then you can pin it down exactly where you want it to cover the bare soil. But if you want to propagate to make a new plant, there's definitely a lot of ways to do that. I think one of the most popular ways is just to cut and put in water. So I am going to do that. This is the first time I've taken a propagation off of this plant, so I'm kind of scared, but I'm also excited. I think I'm gonna do it. Should I do it off of this one or off of this one? Okay, I think I'm gonna do it off of this long one. So basically what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna cut in between the nodes, which is called, can you see that? I'm gonna cut right here in between the two sets of leaves. This is the inner node in between the nodes. I'm gonna cut it so that it leaves more stem onto my cutting versus stem that is left. And then it's kind of sad, but you're gonna have to sacrifice 2 hearts. So I'm gonna have to snip off this pair of hearts. So that was one, this is the other one. So I've snipped off both pairs of hearts, and so now the node is exposed. I'm gonna put it in water so that the node is submerged and the new rhizome is gonna start growing out of that point right there. And also, by the way, sanitize your scissors. These were pre-sanitized. And then, so these hearts you just have to chuck because, you know, they don't have any stems, so they won't be able to grow. Another really popular way of propagating the variegated string of hearts, I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate on this pair right here. So once again, we're going to cut in between the inner nodes. Okay, and put this plant over here. You want to leave about this much stem. So this method is going to be called the butterfly method. I believe the person that came up with this method is Verde Alcove. She has an amazing YouTube channel and Instagram account. I'll link her down in the description down below, and I'll put her username right here on the screen. I believe she came up with this method. But basically what you're going to do is you're going to stick this part right here, the stem plus the node, which is right here, into the soil. This is a mixture of coco coir and pumice, and I lightly pre-moistened just the top of the soil because the soil doesn't have, because the plant doesn't have any roots or bulbs or anything yet. You don't want to really make it completely wet, just the top layer to be moistened. There we go. I'll definitely link her video of her explaining this down below, but from what I've gathered from watching it, that because you left so little stem and the kind of like node is right underneath the soil, the plant's going to prioritize creating the tube, which is going to be quicker than water propagation, because water propagation, it has to also sustain, you know, kind of like a longer piece of plant. So yeah, so you will just need to keep the top layer lightly moistened until it develops roots, and then after it develops roots, which you can test by kind of pulling on it, and until it gives you a little bit of a resistance. Once it's rooted in, then you can start watering it like normal, but until then you kind of just leave it like this. She has many videos on her YouTube channel and her Instagram of her giving updates on what the end result looks like, so I highly recommend you check that out. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. I'm actually going to be doing a giveaway for a variegated string of hearts, this exact one. This one is starting to trail as well, and I love it because it has this pair of all white leaves, which I think looks so god darn pretty. I recently hit 150 subscribers here on this YouTube channel, which is a small milestone, but I'm really happy about it because I've only been making videos for about 2 months and I've received so much support and so much love from, you know, new friends that I've made in this community as well as people who watch me. And so I just wanted to do a small giveaway. I'm doing this giveaway both here on YouTube as well as on my Instagram. I'm going to write all the rules and everything down below. I'm sorry, it is going to be US only. But basically all you have to do is be subscribed to this YouTube channel and leave a comment down below. I would greatly appreciate it if you leave a comment. You either write your Instagram username or your email address or something like that so that I have a way of contacting you if you win. So you can leave one comment in the description down below, and then for additional entries go to my Instagram and I'm gonna have, you know, all the rules on how to put additional entries in on Instagram over there. So follow me over there. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you liked this video. If you did, let me know by giving it a like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Bye!